Unlocking language. Master the semi-modal verb, ought to. Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of our English language learning series. Today, we're delving into an often overlooked, yet highly useful part of English grammar, the semi-modal verb, ought to. It might sound a bit intimidating, but don't worry, we're going to break it down step by step. By the end of this video, you'll be using ought to like a pro. Ought to is a semi-modal verb used in English. It's in the same family as could, would, should, and might. However, ought to has its own unique uses, mainly to express obligation, advisability, expectation, and assumption. It's a handy tool to express these complex feelings and predictions, and it can give your English a nice touch of nuance. Let's start with how to use ought to for expressing obligation and giving advice. It's very similar to should, but sometimes can sound more formal or serious. For example, you might say, "You ought to study for the exam." "We ought to recycle more to help the environment." In each of these sentences, ought to expresses a sense of duty or a strong suggestion. Next, we'll look at how ought to can be used to express expectation and assumption. This is where ought to really shines. It's a great way to express what you think is likely to happen or what you assume to be true, based on the information you have. For instance, consider these examples. They ought to arrive soon. Their train left an hour ago. She ought to know the answer. She's been studying all week. In these examples, ought to helps express expectations and assumptions in a clear and elegant way. Using ought to in questions and negatives is also important. For questions, it's often used to ask for advice. Ought I to call him? What ought we to do in this situation? In negative form, ought not to, or the contraction, oughtn't to, is used to say that something is a bad idea or is likely not true. You ought not to go out in this weather. He oughtn't to arrive late. These examples show how ought to can be versatile in different sentence structures. And that's the end of our journey with the semi-modal verb, ought to. It's a subtle but powerful tool in your English language toolbox. We've seen how it can express obligation, advisability, expectation, and assumption. And how it can be used in questions and negatives. We hope this episode demystified ought to for you and made your English learning journey a bit more interesting. Remember, practice is key. Try to use ought to in your conversations and writings. Stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, keep practicing and happy learning.